I think you've seen enough by now if you've been watching my coverage of Crimson Desert. But today I got even deeper dives. We had over 30 people playing the game, and I'm going to break it all down for you. So lock in. Here we go. 50 to 80 hours or so for the main story. Now, this is estimated depending on how much you want to play. You can get way more content if you want to explore and try to be a completionist. But 50 to 80 hours or so. They talk about confirming the fact that there's some intimate, really focused in on the characters early on to help you really care about them. And that's something that people felt impressed by. Then they talked about content that's possibly missable, that the story isn't linear. You can go anywhere in any region and things like that. And if you focus on the main quest, there'll be some things that you probably won't even know about or find in the game. And I'm good with that. I think people who want to kind of just experience the story can. Then people like me who want to explore, find everything, unlock the best of the best and have fun that way, it's also doable. I want to just kind of briefly talk about different key things that I really love to hear. The crime system. They go deep in depth with this crime system and how it all works. You can actually buy yourself a mask and do crimes without getting noticed, which I thought was very cool. And it's basically just a way like, hey, you know what? Right here, as you see, he's abandoned. He can steal something and he won't get known for it. But if you do something without a mask, it does count as crimes and they will hunt you down and they'll put a bounty on your head and it can get really dangerous. You can also go to jail, lose some money. It's a pretty interesting system that I thought was fun. They also confirmed you have a bounty system where you're capable of chasing down people, arresting them, and bringing them in for collections of rewards. There's a faction reward system as well, where your reputation with them will boost up or down depending on how good you are with them. So you want to work with these different factions, unlock specific things like gear sets, weapons, banners, and so much more. Very nice. The disguises and the social stealth is something that's indicated. People react to you and the outfit that you're wearing depending on the region you're in. There might be some region specific things that you're able to put on an outfit for, which I thought was super cool and interesting. And they talked about the world simulation sound and how beautiful and great it feels. They talked about how people doing regular day things are pretty much all over and they'll react to your behavior as well at times. Random things do happen, but they also have, a similar system to plenty of games that you've seen before where your behavior does affect them. So people will run away if you start doing crimes, killing someone or something like that. I thought that was cool. Pretty interesting. They talked about the voice acting and said that it was top tier, really well performed for the main characters, as well as the audio sounding really good on the emotional and combat beats. So that's amazing. Then they touched on a little bit of endgame, riding the dragon. That's something that you have to do in the future, but it is fully functional and it's not just a one-time thing. You're going to be able to have that long term, as well as the mech suits that you've seen in these footage, where that is going to be unlocked if you put the time in and energy to get those from the region that they belong to. There's a specific, high technology area that you go to for that. Then there's the Abyss realms, puzzles. Again, I covered all this, guys. I think there's nothing new in here as much as just some footage about this stuff, but the Abyss has a lot of puzzles, and these are very key things for you to level up your character as well. You're going to get these abyss points that you'll use to upgrade your character, which is super vital in my opinion, that I absolutely love. And talking about skills, you can actually respec at any time. This is something I didn't know. You can respec your skills at any time and just put them freely wherever you want, and then you're good to go. So to me, that is amazing, and I'm excited for that. I cannot wait. And then you get good loot, consistent loot, and you're able to do side missions to basically buff up your inventory to give you extra slots. That's going to be a key thing. They said, since there's so much loot, you want to focus on some of that if you can. The factions have the vendors that you want to try and unlock the best elements that you can do. So that's very good from there. And I wanted to kind of just mention some narrative conversation about how it's a sandbox. And so they put in a lot of tools, mechanics, and different things for you to be creative and to feel it out however you want. Do not feel like you have to do things one way, whether it's combat or just dealing with different side quests and main missions. Play how you feel, and that's the best part. And I think that's the best thing I can say overall. It is a sandbox game where you're capable of doing it how you want. And that's a huge compliment in my book, to be honest with you. And then we want to talk about the physical movement. One of the cool things that was mentioned was that it really feels like gravity shifts and it feels snappy. And that's something that's important, that is responsive in the combat field, super important. And then we will talk about the ability to switch to the 3 different characters. This is a key thing. Each of them have different play styles and they're very unique. We covered them a little bit in previous videos. They are really awesome. You can call them in during combat and they can come. Now, they didn't test the full game, but they said that has happened. They're able to call them in and then they can have them as sidekicks. But when you do play them, remember, one character is more magic based and they're really dodgy and they have a certain play style that we talked about in deep detail. And the other is more of a brute, more of a axe and hammers type of player who's going to smash his way through things. And I think that's very nice. And I want to kind of get into a couple of other things for you guys and go down the rabbit hole here and discuss why I'm excited as well. Progression and the bosses. We want to talk about how these bosses drop unique weapons. Each boss seems to have some type of special move or weapon that has abilities on it that you're capable of beating the boss and getting that weapon. Which, for example, a weapon with a spear on it that has an AoE attack. That's something you'll pick up and you can use, that I think is super awesome in my opinion. And I absolutely love it. And I cannot wait. And we're going to talk about combat. But before we do, I just wanted to mention one important last thing. The PC performance, okay? Everybody played on PC with a 4K 60 FPS setup. And most people said that felt really good. It played very well. There wasn't really many issues. I think the game crashed for like one person and it was one time and it really wasn't a big deal. And they expressed, that visually overall, this game is performing extremely well. Again, I don't do those type of tests, but you can go all the, tech testers as you go forward. Feel free and enjoy, Now, I want to kind of get into a deeper dive here and talk about some stuff that I'm always really into. As you guys know, we kind of discuss the combat, the progression, those kind of fun things that drive me to play video games. Okay, so let's just be real here. I want to talk about the skill tree. So here's the thing. The skill tree has 3 different focuses One is about stamina and melee attacks, another is about your spirit and agility, and the other is about your health, magic, and elements. All right. Each of them can be focused on. You can become a specialist on whatever that is, or you can spread them out and just have a little fun going forward from there. The abyss, as I talked about, the artifacts are how you unlock points, and you're able to get those from doing pretty much anything and everything, and finding them in the open world as well. Okay. Now, the cool part is these things are like things that we know, right? Like, hey, my stamina, or etc., etc. So there's a lot of very cool attacks that you're capable of unlocking. And the thing that I've noticed is that there's actually tiers within it. So once you open up a skill tree, you're able to get even more out of the game. And of course, remember, the reviews are going to be coming. I'll cover that and show you guys some more things. Honestly speaking, I could probably make 100 videos just on each of these topics individually and breaking it down. But we're doing a deep dive here to give everybody a recap of all the major news that just came out and wanting to help you get started. Okay, so lock in. So on top of that, they talked about the feel of this combat and how it flows. And as I did my big combat guide, which we're not going to do here, I talked about the buttons and how they are a little bit different as far as the dodges on square. R1 and L1 are light and heavy attack, and then you hold R1 to do a face button combo. And these are the methods that create these very cool combinations that you can put together as you play. And this is a compliment to the game, because it's not that it's new, but the system is fluid, and you're going to be able to get very creative and add your own feel and flow to the experience. Okay. Now, my thing is from what the people have mentioned and talked about and the way that they express their feelings, you know, this game has plenty of very cool combat that feels like a fighting game somewhat, but also, you know, an action adventure. Yes, that's true. From my hands on, I love the boss fights having a variety of skills where you can do small different things. Somebody uses the environment to take the boss out. Somebody's pulling together different attacks, combinations, and things that, you know, are only done with creativity. And that is a compliment to this game and the capability of what they put together. One of the bigger standouts overall, if I was to be real, is I already knew all this information, and I had already videos about all of it, most of it. But the big deep dive for me was more just like the performance was done well as far as it's running smooth on PC. And then secondly, the fact that, you know, even these people, no offense to them, they went over there and they probably suck. I'm sorry to say it. Like, a lot of times, some of these creators are just fun, entertaining people who don't have the hardcore skills from like a top player that can really make the combat look insane. But they actually felt really good about the combat. So I didn't get the goofy journalists like, oh, the combat's too hard, or anything like that. It's like, hey, this is rewarding. And so I love that. I think that just means somebody who's skilled will be able to go crazy with this and have fun being creative. So that's something I personally love and I'm excited for as well. Now, is that you? Who knows, right? Maybe you're not good at games either, but there's a lot of exploring and powering up that you can do. You can come in here with a shield and a weapon and just one hit every boss. You go and grind out all your skill points. You know what I mean? So don't get trippy. Have fun with it and enjoy. This is one of those games for me where it's a big open world with a lot of freedom, and you could just play it how you feel. And that's the best part about it. And that's what I care about. And I love the fact that they did that in this game design. So shout out to the devs. The engine is impressive from a technical side. And then the creativity to allow you to go out there like a madman, use wrestling moves and so much more, makes it even more fun. All right. Well, that's my breakdown for this quick recap of what the people said. They really didn't talk about anything new. I already have the coverage on my channel of pretty much everything that they stated, but the footage is nice. So if you want to continue watching that, I got a list on my description for those creators and you can see what they showcase. Plus, there's a review coming out on the 18th. I know it's a day before the release of the game, but if you want to really like see more, that's be your day where you can see more. I'm already done. I'm done seeing anything. I'm ready to play. You know what I mean? That's just me. So that's kind of why I also didn't make content. I'm like, hey, they got their hands on. I did not. I'm having fun, excited, waiting for this bad boy. And we can have some fun together. So lock in on the channel if you enjoyed this breakdown, and I will see you soon. Take care, stay blessed. Go watch those deep dives. I got a combat guide, a story breakdown, and much more. See you there. Peace.